background of Elijah. Elijah, whose name means "my God is Yahweh," was a prophet from Tishbe in the region of Gilead, located east of the Jordan River. His sudden appearance on the biblical scene is both dramatic and significant, reflecting the urgency of his mission in a time of deep spiritual crisis in the northern kingdom of Israel. Elijah's ministry unfolded during the reign of King Ahab, a ruler whose tenure was marked by significant moral and religious decline, largely due to the influence of his wife, Jezebel. Jezebel, a Phoenician princess, was a devoted follower of Baal, a prominent Canaanite deity associated with fertility, storms, and agriculture. Upon marrying Ahab, she brought with her the worship of Baal, leading to its widespread promotion in Israel. Jezebel was not merely an adherent of Baal worship. She was a zealous advocate who sought to replace the worship of Yahweh with that of Baal. Under her influence, Ahab erected altars and temples to Baal, and the king himself participated in the idolatrous practices that Jezebel introduced. This period in Israel's history was marked by a significant departure from the worship of Yahweh, the God who had delivered the Israelites from Egypt and established them in the Promised Land. The covenant relationship between God and Israel was being eroded as the people, led by their king, turned to Baal worship. The religious landscape of Israel was in turmoil as syncretism, a blending of Yahweh worship with Baal worship, became increasingly common, further complicating the nation's spiritual identity. Elijah emerged as a prophet at this critical juncture, charged with the mission to call Israel back to the exclusive worship of Yahweh. His very name, "My God is Yahweh," signified his divine mandate and the message he was to proclaim. Elijah's mission was to confront the idolatry and apostasy that had taken root in Israel and to remind the people of their covenant obligations to Yahweh. Elijah's first major act as a prophet was to deliver a dire prophecy to King Ahab, announcing a severe drought that would last for several years. This drought was not just a natural disaster, but a direct challenge to Baal, who was believed to control rain and fertility. By proclaiming that there would be no rain except by his word, Elijah was demonstrating that Yahweh, not Baal, was the true God in control of the natural world. The drought had devastating effects on Israel, leading to famine and widespread suffering. This event set the stage for a dramatic showdown between Elijah and the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel. In this encounter, Elijah challenged the prophets to a contest to determine whose God was real. The prophets of Baal prayed and performed rituals for hours, but no fire came to consume their sacrifice. In contrast, Elijah's simple prayer to Yahweh was answered with fire from heaven, consuming not only the sacrifice, but also the altar and the water around it. This spectacular display of divine power reaffirmed Yahweh's supremacy and led to the execution of the prophets of Baal. Elijah's mission, however, was not without challenges. Jezebel, enraged by the defeat of Baal's prophets, vowed to kill Elijah, forcing him to flee into the wilderness. In his isolation, Elijah experienced profound despair, feeling that his mission had failed and that he was the only faithful follower of Yahweh left. Yet, God met him in his moment of weakness, providing sustenance and revealing himself not in dramatic acts, but in a gentle whisper, reaffirming Elijah's prophetic call. Elijah's life and ministry were characterized by his fierce commitment to Yahweh and his courageous opposition to the idolatry that threatened to consume Israel. His role as a prophet was not just to perform miracles, but to serve as a conduit of God's message, calling Israel back to faithfulness. Elijah's background is confrontations with Ahab and Jezebel, and his dramatic acts of faith all underscore his central role in the biblical narrative as a defender of the covenant and a restorer of true worship in Israel.